along the coast and all the way out to the highway. Every single part of Port should be linked with off-road bike tracks. You both ride bikes around town now. How do you find it? What's the experience like riding a bike in Port Macquarie?
Not very good, to be honest. There's some bike tracks or bike lanes, but they don't actually, there's none that can get you anywhere. So you might be able to take a bike lane half of the way to somewhere that you want to go, and then it will abruptly end and you're stuck on the road. I mean, for example, on Ocean Drive, sort of the first bit of Ocean Drive where it meets Gordon Street, there's no bike lane, then suddenly it will appear and it'll get you just past Lake Road and then it disappears again.
What difference would bike lanes make, or if we went a step further to my plan, off-road bike tracks, what difference would that make in your lives as cyclists?
It would be safer.
It would definitely be safer, and I think it would encourage more people, people who aren't confident riders to actually ride. At the moment, the most people who would cycle in Port Macquarie are confident riders who do it, as a recreational activity.
It's time to talk.
And I believe we have Michael on the line. Michael, are you there?
Hi, Tim.
You witnessed something on, I believe, Ocean Drive. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I was just entering our estate as usual at the roundabout at Crestwood when I saw a four-wheel drive enter the roundabout and completely demolish a cyclist on the road. It was at a point in which there was that less than 2 metres before the next open bike lane opened. So it's gone from no bike lane to bike lane. And it was about 2 metres away from that when the four-wheel drive hit. So, as the girls were saying, it needs to be connected better.
Yeah.
And I think there really needs to be more education for motorists about roundabouts. Because, I'm on my L's now and I've just sat the test, and really, we didn't get taught anything. There's not even a question about roundabouts in the test.
Yeah, but roundabouts are a constant source of contention. Just to go back to the accident for a moment, it was a fairly serious accident. The person involved, do you know how they are? They were seriously injured, I understand. Yeah, seriously injured. What looked to have his legs broken in 8 places. It was terrible. Was he a professional cyclist? Was he in Lycra, or was it just a kid, or what was the story?
He wasn't a kid. He did look like he had a professional bike. It was, with a branded bike. He wasn't in Lycra, but you could tell that he'd obviously a rider. Yeah.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because we've got these, as the girls were just saying there, we've got bike lanes in Port Macquarie, but they, as you've just said too, they don't connect up.
No.
One would wonder if it's even more dangerous to have partial bike lanes like they do. I've been really keeping my eye out since speaking to the girls. Even the bike lanes that we have, they're pretty dangerous. They don't take up, they're not very wide, and a car could easily sideswipe them, that's for sure. You
go from one side of the roundabout having a dedicated bike lane, which is not that big, it's quite small as you said, and then on the other side of the roundabout, the bike lane again, and then through the roundabout there's absolutely nothing.
There's nothing.
And the motorist and the bike have to share, as you know, but who knows what's coming around the corner. And I think it may have just been a case of the four-wheel drive's up high and hasn't seen it as it's coming around the corner, or it's hard to imagine just why we don't have a dedicated bike lane even everywhere connecting Port Macquarie. We are a triathlon city, as the girl said.
That's right. And look, I should also represent a lot of the callers who've called in over the past couple of weeks about this, have complained about cyclists and the fact that they seem to be often a law unto themselves, disregarding the rules and believe that they own the road. I know that cyclists would say the same. I don't see that attitude from the cyclists, though. They often do keep their heads down, though. I mean, maybe it's the nature of the sport, but they keep their heads down and they barrel through. And sometimes you do think they're not concentrating particularly well. I think it's about time that Port Macquarie bit the bullet. We don't just need cycle lanes; we need off-road bike tracks.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
very simple. I don't understand why we're not spending money on things like this when that's the type of town that we are. So anyway, Michael, thank you very much for the information. I really appreciate it.
No worries, Tim.
And you keep listening tonight.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
buddy. That's Michael there from Port Macquarie relaying an incident, a disturbing incident really, which really backs up a lot of the information that a lot of the callers and, of course, the ladies who are in our studio passing on to us tonight. You're listening to Time to Talk. You too can give us a call on 6585 2233.